You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Buku signing on.
Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Giannouloudis. And today, guys, we have Andrea Urciuoli back on the show. She's been diving into mindfulness with us. She's been diving into our egos. We've been diving into Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And today, guys, we have a topic for you, and we want to take a step back. We want to take a step back with you because the bottom line to everything that we're trying to teach you guys is you got to let go and trust. And that's something that's very tough for, I think, anyone to do. Because we always want control in a situation, but when you can let go and trust, it takes the edge off of it and things start to happen in your life. We hold on to situations, experiences, or objects from our past that could be hindering us from something that's so much better. So today, Andrea and I want to dive into that with you. Andrea, thank you for being on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Billy. Great intro again. Good morning. Yes, holding on to things that we think are good enough, are good for us.
Yeah.
Not good enough, good for us. Whether it's a toxic relationship that you don't know is toxic until you leave it, whether it is a toxic work partnership, or property, home, business, right? We can name like 100 different
Everything
things.
under the sun.
And sometimes you don't know it's hurting or harming you, or your body, or your mind, or your family, or you don't know it until you get out of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'll go back to, without harping into the whole, the details of I got out of a really difficult marriage that just wasn't working for us, but I wanted to stay because it looks better on paper, and I wanted to stay for the kids and for our property, but I knew in my heart, stop holding on, and I didn't want to go through the ugly part of it and the stage and the muck that you have to walk through, and it is muck, and it is ugly until you get to the other side, which is you finding yourself again. I know I needed to find myself again. I needed to find my own voice. I needed to find that freedom, and I needed to find who I was again.
Exactly.
Because you can get lost in a relationship, and you can hold on to something that you think is your dream, but until you literally, and I go like this, until you just release it out to the universe, you actually don't realize how stagnant life can be, or I wasn't living my life purpose. And I know now my life purpose is to help people, to empower women and men or children, to help them see the light. And I'm not saying it's easy. This has been a really difficult road. But I have found that the more we let go, you start to see clarity.
Exactly. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes tremendous sense. And you hit the nail on the head. The experiences we go through, situations, a lot of people can see us watch one of these episodes, and they can look at us from a level like we're on a different level than they are. But we go through these same humanly experiences as well. And you just touched on it with your own experience that you've been through, where you needed to take a step back, which was tough for you, and trust the process by letting go of a property, a house, or letting go of these situations that you felt you needed to control onto. But the second you're like, all right, we could waste so much energy holding on to something.
Yes.
When in actuality, if we just let go, we usually, more often than not, get back tenfold what we tried to hold on to.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct?
Exactly.
And that trusting factor. But coming to that trusting factor, how would you describe it? Is it a tough road to trust? Or is there any way we can try to experience that on an easier level?
So that's a great question. So all of us are born into this world without an ego. You came out of a sack of water. You're a defenseless little tiny baby without an ego. But the ego develops quickly as you start to walk, as you start to realize, I want that toy, I want that food, I want my mother. That's when the ego builds, when we start to want things in life, which is human nature, and animals have it too. But when it gets so high, because the society that we live in, to have more stuff is better, to have the right address and the right job and the best relationship, the ego just keeps getting, not for everybody, but for most of us, it just gets...
It's in the way.
Yeah, it gets in the way.
Yeah.
So I remember when we were all living together as a family, I just remember feeling out of sorts and out of place. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I lost my identity. I didn't even know who I was anymore. I mean, I grew up as a dancer and I didn't dance anymore.
Yeah.
I worked in the fashion industry. I didn't give up that to have my kids. I lived in Manhattan. I did some wonderful things, but I gave it all up for the family. But then you get lost.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily want those items back because I didn't want to be a dancer now or work back in that industry, but I did know that there were going to be changes in my life and my destiny and my purpose, but I didn't know that I had to walk through the trenches to get there.
Yeah.
But something in your human nature, something my subconscious said, this is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but do it. I felt a calling to do this.
Yeah.
We talked about callings
Yeah.
in our
We've
last
had-
video, or 2 videos ago. We've talked about ego, shaving it down to see the light.
Yeah.
All these things that we're talking about under the umbrella of mindfulness have come to fruition for me.
Yeah.
So I knew I had to do this. I knew I was going to walk through the trenches. Still not quite out, but I'm getting close to the end.
Yeah.
And I think I've said this in one of my last videos, that I would have never studied mindfulness, stress reduction, to help children and whoever I'm helping, if I didn't go through this.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something else.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be non-superficial, and it was authentic.
Yeah.
And it was coming from my heart. It's what I've learned. It's what I went through.
Yeah.
And I wanted to study it so I could pass it on.
Exactly.
So what was your question 2 minutes ago?
Well, no, you hit the nail on the head. But another question sparked in my head as well, because I asked you, how can you help people in this process of trusting a little bit easier? But you kind of hit the nail on the head, and I want to put it out there for people, because you kind of went over it. You're in the trenches. So for everyone right now that's in the trenches, you're pursuing something, you're just like, when is the trenches gonna end? But when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna finally pop? And then that's it. But Andrea, if you think about it, with the story that you just explained to us, you felt a calling in you to walk into the trenches.
Yes.
Because there's a deeper calling on your purpose, your destiny, to help people on a bigger scale.
Yes.
So if you think about it now, you had to walk through the trenches to get the training needed for you to help people on a grander scale, which is where you're headed. So just as much as you're in the trenches now, there is definitely, if you can put it out there, an ending to the trenches, because you're about to reach a massive scale, because you felt the calling to go into them, to get shaved down, to let the diamond shine, as I like to tell my clients, so you can shine bright into other people's lives and help them through the trenches that they're currently going through.
Right.
Correct. And just like Andrea touched on the past videos we've done, your calling, your ego, the steps have been lined up to help you guys in this entire process, because Andrea, in mindfulness, she's gone through the steps to teach us this. It's incredible. And so this trusting factor that we're trying to help you guys with, you got to trust the process when you're going through the trenches. It's probably the biggest thing, the biggest factor, whether that's whatever you feel like this is something that you can't give up, like you need to have it, you need to lock onto this, you need to control this one aspect, you can give everything up but that. And Andrea, you touched on that, you have gone through that, where you're like, this is everything else, I just gotta hold on to this.
I gotta hold on. That's from, what did we talk about earlier before the camera went on, is our past.
Exactly.
That's our past talking to us.
Exactly.
Because I came from that controlling atmosphere in my house, that we had to hang on to all these things, the property, the this, the kid, I mean, for dear life, and it doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
And once you start to release, I always go like this, it's like releasing control of everything.
Exactly.
Just go for what your purpose is if you know what it is. And I know sometimes our viewers don't know what their purpose is, and that's understandable too, because you can get lost in the trenches, as I did too, because I love people. I love to help people, but I also love to sell, and I have that knack of getting into let's work on this, but I didn't know where until I don't know, I picked up a book and I'm like, this mindfulness work, because we're living in a really tough day and age where kids are so focused on their iPads and everybody's so disconnected. So that was something I followed, and I immediately fell in love with it. The whole meditation and the breath work and all this work, it's all enmeshed in one big package deal, and it helps people. But
definitely. And like you said, like, we get so caught up in our past.
Yes.
We get so caught up on thoughts of our past, which we've talked about when we dive into Dr. Dispenza.
Yeah.
But our thoughts get stuck in past events. So if you think about it, for the example, you're in a new relationship. You love it. It's new. That flame is there. It's something positive in your life right then and there. And you continue on. And then there's little bumps in the road, just there are in relationships and whatnot. But then it's as if it's stagnant. It's stagnant. But you're holding on to what that flame used to be years ago, and you're sitting there. But then the idea starts creeping in your head, like, what could have been?
What could have been?
But because you're holding on to past events, you're not actually seeing what's truthfully getting taken out of you, rather than build you up in that relationship.
Right.
Relationships
like not working. It's not working anymore, but you don't want to admit it.
Exactly.
Because you have a past memory of, well, it was good. What was it good for 2% of the time, or 5 or 10? And I realize nothing's fabulous 100% of the time.
Exactly.
But I know I had to weigh out the good and the bad, and that was a hard realization. All of this is a hard realization.
Exactly. Yeah.
To make difficult life choices. But the beauty of the mindfulness work, this is why I love this work so much. The beauty of mindfulness stress reduction and the Reiki and the meditation, it allows you to calm your nervous system down enough so you can make those difficult choices. And I will say, I don't think I could have made those difficult choices 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been emotionally ready to take on all this stuff. And there's some really big decisions, but because I stuck with the program, which is the mindfulness program, I had to make some really big decisions on my own, but I was clear and my body was calm. And when your body's calm, your brain is calm. Or maybe it's the reverse, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When your brain is calm, then your body follows suit.
Exactly.
And I was able to stand tall and have a clear way of speaking in an adult manner without being overly emotional or sidetracked, and make some tough decisions. And that is the beauty of this work.
Exactly. No, exactly. The body follows the mind doesn't follow the body.
Yeah.
Correct. And, on the idea that the past, the mind, the body, everything we just talked about, one question that sticks out to me with this trusting aspect.
Okay.
A lot of us tend to, and we talked about this prior to actually filming, but we talked about, a higher power, whether that's God, whether that's, you call it the universe, whatever it is under the sun for you. When you're holding on to something so much and you're trying to take control of it, and it's tough for you to trust God, to trust the higher power that is innately for you, to trust it, it's like, just trust me, let it go, and just watch what I do for you. So when we're holding on to something so much, we're missing out on something better that could possibly happen to us. And you being in the trenches currently right now, but still believing that higher power, would you say you're coming to a point where whatever situation you're dealing with, whatever you're trying to hold on, take control of, if you let go of that, something 10 times better could take its place, or will take its place? Yes.
I believe in divine source, I believe in a higher power.
Exactly.
I was holding on. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of my situation, but it was custody and with the courts and whatever. And I was holding on to a scenario in my mind of how I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted it to be like this. This is what I know. This is what I've always had, and I don't want to make any changes. So I was like this. And it was making me physically sick because I couldn't wrap my brain around, well, what would it be like if it was this way?
Yeah.
Would it be detrimental to your health? No. Would you have more free time? Yes. But my brain wasn't going there. I wasn't allowing it because I guess my ego was up. I was controlling the situation, or I just couldn't I just couldn't let go or fathom. So I did a test and I started getting into my mindfulness work, and I think there's a part in this book, Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, with
Dr. Joe Dispenza?
Yeah, with Dr. Joe Dispenza in Becoming Supernatural, our favorite book, about control and controlling things and then surrendering and see what happens. So I did. Or maybe it was a video, but it was about letting go and the universe listens.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
It took everything out of me though, and I feared
Yeah.
the outcome.
Yeah.
That's something else too.
Exactly.
Stop fear. Whether you're in a relationship, you met a new guy and everything's great, or you met a new girl, stop fearing what the outcome is. Enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
So when I stopped fearing the outcome of the situation with my children, guess what happened? Everything ironed out.
Yeah.
Everything worked out.
Yeah.
And we're fine.
Yeah.
And everything's fine. The kids are happy, we're happy, but I couldn't see it because I had to hold it.
Yeah.
I had to, I don't know, navigate it.
No, exactly.
And then with the whole relationship thing, the outcome had to be a certain way. Once you release what the outcome is, that is what mindfulness work is.
Yeah.
Staying in the present moment. Like right now, I'm not thinking about anything but our meeting right now and helping our viewers. That is when the true authenticity just blossoms.
Yeah.
Because we're not focused on what's
Exactly.
happening after.
You need to surrender your idea of what you want to get something better.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
And the surrender factors, we're human. No one wants to surrender.
No, we
no
don't.
One wants to
And the
surrender.
older you get, you really, don't tell me what to do, where to live, how to
Yeah.
live. No way.
Yeah.
But if you just lay back.
Yeah.
Dr. Wayne Dyer, who's the guy that I talk about all the time, that still has wonderful YouTube videos out there, very inspirational, they're awesome. I have a little quote about him in my book. He says something so profound and it's so simple. He's like, sometimes you just need to sit back.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, okay, that's okay, Andrew, it's cliche. No, really, sit back and do nothing. Have your thoughts, think about this, release this tension, this grasp you have on, well, I don't know, that relationship,
whatever it is
or that
for
property,
you.
or whatever it is for you that you think you have to have. Sometimes when you release, be careful what you wish for, because you may see something in a different light. So that has happened to me.
Exactly.
I did see things in a different light because I was able to surrender a little bit.
And in my trainings, I try to get people to a point, just kind of like what you touched on. And I want you guys to try this after the video. Take a step back, sit back, just like Andrea said.
Sit back.
And if there's something in your life that's just a burden, it's just weight on your shoulders, it's causing tension, you can't let go of this because it's just part of you, and you
have to have it.
You have to have it. Take a step back, sit back. In that moment, you still have whatever it is you're grasping onto, but take a step back and just start to picture what could be the best possible situation be if you let that go. If you took the tension away, what will come into your life? If it's a relationship you're holding on to where it's like it doesn't serve you anymore, but you don't want to take that step because of the fear factor, like you touched on. Fear is a big factor. We're trusting. There is a sense of fear. And when you can step through that fear and into the trust, that's when things start to happen.
Exactly.
So when you can take a step back after this video and you're trying this, you still have what it is. You don't even have to worry that it's gone. You still have, but you start to picture what could be. What could happen? What's the joy that I could feel if I let this go and say, if it is a relationship factor, I stepped out of that fear and then I found the joy that I've always been looking for. I found that love that I've always been looking for that I wasn't getting because the relationship wasn't serving me anymore because I was so focused on the past.
Yes.
Correct. Or if it's a housing situation or a property, kind of like you touched on, whatever that means for you, take a step back and just picture, if I didn't put all my energy and all my focus into just controlling this situation and I started to shift my focus to something better, what would that better be for you? But try it. Take your time. I'm not telling you to go sit like 4 hours just trying to focus on this thing. 15 minutes.
You just release it a little bit.
Exactly.
Also, another thing too, it's very empowering.
Yeah.
and it's fearful. I won't say, I don't advocate anything, bad for your family or whatever, but if you know in your subconscious that it's the right thing to do, I felt very empowered after, and I got my voice back, and I got my confidence back, and I felt so ready for the next step. And it is so empowering because people don't appreciate and don't want to admit aloneness.
Yeah.
Being alone. Being alone is so empowering. It's probably the best thing that you can do, and I highly advise it what's getting out of a toxic situation, because I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Am I going to be alone? Are people going to view me as this? It was fabulous. It was the best thing that I ever did, was to take that time to introduce me to me again, and figure out who I really was, and that's why I feel like in the past 2 years I have, for lack of a better word, like blossomed a little bit more and came out to speak. And I would never have done a video 5 years ago because I wouldn't have been ready, and I wouldn't have wanted to hear my own voice. And it is hard to look at yourself on camera and hear your own voice, because we see all these flaws and all these mistakes that we see, and maybe our viewers don't see, but that's what makes it real.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it human.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it authentic, and that's what everybody can relate to some of these topics.
Exactly. When you can take a step back and do that work. And like you said, the biggest thing is finding out who you are.
Yeah.
And we're so caught up in our past, we are trying to be someone who we used to be in our past, when someone we could be is 10 times better. And Andrea just touched on with us, in all of her process trying to figure out who she is, she found so much strength, empowerment. She found so much strength, she found so many gifts, so many skills that was innately in her. And that's what we want for every single one of our viewers, to just to see how great of a person you are and what's truly innately inside you. Skills, gifts, whatever it is, whatever makes you you. But if you're so focused on the situations, the experiences, and the moments that you're in that you can't let go of, you lose track of who you are because you're so focused on that stuff.
Yeah, and I'll say one more thing before we close.
Yeah.
So talking about the body and the mind and how they're enmeshed. And boy, they are.
Oh, yeah.
People, you and I know that, but people that aren't in the field don't understand it. I actually had a girlfriend comment on me the other day that she didn't understand what I was talking about. She's not in the health and fitness field, and it is hard to understand.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So,
it's a big topic.
Literally, I'm not joking. Just a few days ago, I have been physically feeling great and strong, but my mind is very positive. But I'm struggling with a surrender issue.
Yeah.
So I've been having joint pain and ankle pain and minor knee pain, which I have not had in years.
Okay.
So metaphysically, it is a fact that when you are afraid to take a step forward, that's when the knee pain comes in.
Wow.
I have minor knee pain and I have minor ankle pain right now.
Wow.
But it's dissipating because I know I need to release something. In my life.
Huh.
So, and it's happening right now. And I know, because I study this stuff, I know what I need to do to make it better. And it's not just a vitamin, it's not just a pill, and it's not just the power of positivity. It's letting go. And releasing and see what happens. So in 2 weeks, I will check in with you guys to see what level that pain is, but it's already dissipating because I know I need to take a step forward.
Yeah,
so
that's incredible. Yeah, Andrea, I thank you so much for being on the show. Guys,
thanks, Billy.
Let go and trust. And like we touched on, whatever your higher power is, you find this stuff out there. Whether you talk about the universe, whether you talk about God and you dive into the Bible, trusting is such an innate factor that's actually in our beings. But when our ego, what we touched on, starts to take over, it's very tough for us to let go and trust to whatever that may be. But there is something better for you. So if you can let go and trust in whatever your situation is, whatever's causing you stress, take a step back, like we said, and try it. And just see what happens. It might not happen like that. But over time, you start to see it. You start to see blessings come into your life. You start to see what you were letting go of. You let go of it, and then something better takes over.
Yeah, you have to release it though to see it.
It's so true, and it's there, and it's been throughout history. And you can dive in at incredible books to find this out, but it's there.
Yeah.
And just try it. If there's anything that comes out of this video, just try it and just see what happens, and just see what happens to your life. Andrea, I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Billy. Appreciate it.
Guys, if you like this video, comment, and if you have a question, comment, and we're going to answer it for you. By all means, we want to hear from you guys, and I cannot wait for you guys to see the next message we do.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one, guys.
Have a great day.
See ya.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made.